Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. This is your first Financial Friday report I'm going to be doing on every Friday. Um, let's get started. I have a couple of videos I'm going to share with you. This is going to be about a half an hour session, nothing longer. And I want to kind of talk about the economy and what's getting ready to happen because mainstream media isn't talking about this. So we have to enlighten people. But be prepared because the next 60 to 90 days, it's going to get insane. Okay. And unfortunately, I do see it's the boomer generation that will probably pay the biggest price in this whole scenario. And that's because the dollar is losing its dominance right as we speak. It's happening behind the scenes. The system is in a full collapse. Okay. And I hate to come on here with such menacing news on a Friday, on a weekend beginning, but knowledge is power. So if you know this information, you might be able to do something about it. I'm going to share with you a video, and this is in regards to BRICS. If you're not familiar with what BRICS is the 5 leading and emerging economies merging together. So BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS's currency is backed by gold, and it will kill the US dollar. Please remember, we were taken off the gold standard by Nixon back in 1971, and since then, our economy has been based on debt. So when you have that kind of a scenario, it's eventually going to catch up with you. All right, so I'm going to play this video, and this is the Kenyan President William Ruto. And this was posted about 2 days ago, but it is very important that you hear this. And this title of this is called "The US Dollar Might Be Losing Its Steam." Here we go.
Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto has unveiled a plan to deal with the dollar crisis.
As a government, we have made innovative intentions and undertaken innovative strategy to ensure that it ease the burden of availability in our market. We just concluded last week an arrangement, a market-driven arrangement in our fuel sector that will see Kenya access all our fuel needs on a deferred 6-month credit. That will eliminate a demand of $500 million every month from this market. And therefore, for the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses.
As India gears up to host the G20 summits later this year, and the issue of currency recognition is
So that was the president of Kenya speaking, William Ruto, and he was announcing to his people, his nation, to get ready. And if you do hold American dollars, to get rid of them or you're going to lose money. It's the same that's happening here in the United States. Your dollar is getting ready to lose value unless you dump it into assets, gold, things like that. It's going to lose money and it's going to devalue. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we are going into an eclipse month here for the month of April. And I will be discussing that more. I just did a video for my Patreons on this. Feel free to join Patreon for $5 a month, and you can get all of this information. I will put the link in my bio here on the side so you can sign up. But here, let me bring something up. Let me just get into Patreon real quick. I am going to show you another video. Last time I did this, it didn't sound very good. I've gotten all the sound worked out, so it should be better. But Um, let's see. Well, I'll find that in a minute. Let's go to the next video. Now, the next video, I've showed you this guy before. This is from the 3T Warrior Academy. He's very good with numbers and research. So let me go to that. Hold on, you guys. Bear with me. There we go. All right. I hope you could see that. This is from the Warrior Academy, which I am in, and talks about how the economy is about to get a whole lot worse before it gets any better. So let's go.
I brought into a war. So we're going to first watch this video from Jerome Powell. I like to show the same videos over and over and over and over again, because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. This was the video that he, or this same nomenclature, or would that be nomenclature? The same verbiage he used in 2020, 2021. Pay attention to what he says. Then I'm going to show you what's actually happening within our system.
We're not going back to the economy. This will be a different economy. And one of the things we hear from companies is that they've spent a lot of time since the pandemic arrived looking at ways to have more effective technology and perhaps fewer people. So you're going to see some of that in these public-facing jobs. So there will be millions of people who have a hard time finding their way back into the workforce and recovering the lives that they had just a year ago. And, I think it would be appropriate for us to continue to support those people. The recovery, though, here remains uneven and incomplete. The burden is still falling on lower income workers. The unemployment rate in the bottom quartile is still 20%. There's still 8.5 million people out of work. And this unevenness that we're talking about is a very serious issue. Viruses are no respecters of borders. And until...
Okay, then he goes into the virus and the vaccine, okay? But listen to what he said. We're not coming back to a new economy. We're coming back to a new economy leveraged towards technology. 8 million workers are out of their job. Well, the president, right, our president said that, hey, listen, job markets are booming now. Well, when they opened everything back up, of course, everybody went back to work, right? But now we're in a position where they switched the whole economy. We went from a low interest rate environment, boom, to a high interest rate environment, which inverted the yield curve, which I'm gonna verbalize that as I go through this. But there's other things happening that are so important here, okay? As we forget very, very quickly, I showed you this back in 2022 on the back end. This was December 2022. I want you to listen to what this gentleman says. This is about the dollar debt, FX swaps, and forwards. Huge, missing and growing. Pay attention to what he says.
Some foreign exchange derivatives, such as FX swaps, forwards, and currency swaps, require that the full principal amount be exchanged at maturity. This distinguishes them from other types of derivatives in which the principal is not exchanged. Banks are the biggest users of FX swaps. They use them to fund and hedge portfolios, as well as to take positions. Most FX swaps have the US dollar on one side and have very short maturities. This makes FX swap markets vulnerable to dollar funding squeezes. We saw this during the Great Financial Crisis, and again in March 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic went global. Because the payment obligations from FX swaps are not recorded on the balance sheet, they are generally not picked up in standard debt statistics. Yet the scale of the dollar payment obligations is staggering, at more than 80 trillion in mid-2022.
So 80 trillion in FX swaps.
The bulk of this dollar debt is likely owed by entities outside the United States, for which the US dollar is a foreign currency. As of mid-2022, non-banks outside the United States owed as much as 26 trillion in such missing debt, up from 17 trillion in 2016. This is roughly double their dollar debt on their balance sheets. Similarly, non-US banks owed upwards of 35 trillion compared to an estimated 15 trillion in dollar debt on their balance sheets. Since this debt
Okay, so what I just showed you was Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, talking about how we're not going back to the old ways. The old paradigm shift, the old paradigm ways of generating and creating money are over. We're moving into a whole new era, and this actually makes perfect sense. With us being in Pluto and Aquarius, the next 4 months, I said there would be radical change, and whatever you see happening and taking place in these next 4 months is a precursor of things to come later on when Pluto goes into Aquarius permanently for about 40 years or 20 years, 20 years. I believe that's around November, or is it September? It's either November or September of 2024. So we've got some interesting things taking place. However, let's not forget that April, the month of April, is an eclipse month. Hold on. There we go. The month of April is an eclipse month. So therefore, a lot of things are going on, but I do believe shit's going to start hitting the fan a little bit more with the economy, maybe around the 8th or 9th of April. But around that eclipse, we are dealing with Aries Mars energy, but we're also dealing with Taurus Venus energy. So both energies, Mars and Aries energy, it's warlike energy, the Lord of War. Throw in a new moon in Taurus, what's interesting about this eclipse is it's a hybrid eclipse, and I'm going to talk more about that later on. So it's very rare. So when you have something rare like this, a rare celestial event, expect incredible and I wouldn't say exciting, but unnerving things to happen in the next 60 to 90 days. This is me not trying to scare you, but I'm also trying to sound the alarm. Shit or get off the pot. Do something. Please remember, we are moving from an industrial to a technical revolution. Key word here, Pluto in Aquarius, revolution. That doesn't just mean the people are going to be revolting. It's also going to be everything. Everything is going to reset itself. Everything is going to die, rebirth, and transform itself, including our economy. Excuse me. Whew, I sneezed. Whew. But that is a rundown of the economy. Like I said, I will come on here every Friday. I do a lot of research throughout the week, and if I find a video that I find interesting and I want to share with you, then I will definitely share it with you. Hold on, you guys. There, that's better. Let me go to my Patreon page and throw my Patreon in. But yeah, the next 4 months are going to be crazy. April, May, June, July. Get ready. Buckle up, because it is going to be insane. Hold on, I'm going to... All right. And while that's popping up, I'm going to share with you while we go into this weekend. It shall be rather enjoyable this weekend. The moon is waxing, and it's moving into Leo. So this weekend will do something with the children. They will really appreciate it. You'll feel like getting out and enjoying yourself and having fun. And let's see if I can. Well, it's not letting me put the comments in. How weird. That's very bizarre. Anyway, it is Astro Strega for my Patreon page. Astro Strega. So if you want more information, by all means. I don't know what's going on with my oh, I don't know. Oh, well. Anyway, that is your financial report. And like I said, get out and enjoy yourself this weekend. The moon is going into Leo. So it will be all about children and having fun and having joy and being entertained. A lot of people go out to events, concerts, theater, sporting events, things like that. So get out there, have some fun. Try not to stress too much on the world at large, but also make some sound moves. I will come back here next week and I might go over how we all can protect our money. Please remember, this is not financial advice. I am an astrologer and not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you information because of the experiences I have had. So with that being said, all of you out there, have a great weekend. Be safe, and I will see you in the very near future next week sometime. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.